Welcome to another video as part of our Carl video series. I'm Rob from Ahead Simulations, but today you'll see that Carl is the one on camera. This is because we're going to run through a hearing test of Carl where I both walk through the interface and you can see as Carl responds during a hearing test. So to start and jump right in, what you can see on the screen right now is the default page in which you see when you load up the Carl Pro software. You can see we are currently in the audiograms portion of the interface, and on the left here is all of the audiograms that are loaded into your Carl right now. This will include both preloaded audiograms and standardized audiograms that come with Carl, as well as any audiograms which you have created to date. When we look at all of these different audiograms, there's icons located right to the left of them, and these icons will signify what kind of hearing test this is. There's three different options for this. First of all is an unmasked audiogram. The example of that is the flat 70 here, where you can see only the unmasked icons are colored. The other case is below that, flat masking case 1 is an example where only the mask thresholds are colored, and this means you only need to test the mask thresholds. So this is very, very focused on learning the skill of masking. Above you can see where all icons are colored, and this means that you have to go through unmasked and mask thresholds and determine which frequencies need masking. And that best represents a clinical case of having a patient in front of you where you need to run through all of it. Today, we're just going to focus on a simple case of no masking required, and we're going to pick the flat 70. I'm also picking flat 70 because, as the name suggests, this is an example case that is just 70 dB across every frequency in both the left and the right. So I'm going to choose accordingly on my audiometer just out of screen here, frequencies that can demonstrate Carl responding. So when I click on that flat 70, you'll see Carl, his shoulders just lit up blue. This is his indication to say, yes, I have accepted this audiogram and I am ready to respond. On the screen as well, you'll see at the bottom right, there's another indicator that says Carl Pro is listening. And again, that just means that he is all ready to go. Just to orient you according to the screen, you can see right now we have a right and a left ear plot. If you prefer, you can click on this single pane view and it puts it all inside of one view where the icons are on the bottom. Today, I'm just going to stick with the dual pane view. So on my audiometer here, I'm going to start testing Carl's hearing. I'm going to be looking at the right ear, and I'm going to start at 1,000 hertz. Now, I know that Carl is going to respond at 70 dB, and I am cheating. So I'm going to start right at 70 just to show how Carl responds. I am currently playing the tone, and you'll see his shoulders are lighting up. That means instead of raising his hand or clicking a button, that he has effectively heard the tone. I'm going to do it once more. And you'll also see that it's not side specific. So Carl just responds in general as a yes, I have heard this. Now, it wouldn't be a proper hearing test if I didn't go down 10 dB to make sure that he didn't respond. No response at 60 dB HL. I'm going to bump it up to 5 dB to 65. No response. I'm going to go up 5 once more. And there we go. We get another response. So on my interface, I'm going to be writing in 70 here. You can also click on the graph and drag on the graph as another way to interface with it. For one more example, I'm going to go over to 2,000 hertz. Again, I'm going to start at 70 dB HL in the right ear. I'm going to play the tone. And there's Carl responding as well. I'm going down 10, playing the tone at 60 dB. No response. Up 5 to 65. No response. And up once more to 70 dB, and there he goes responding again. So I'm going to click that on the graph right at 70. Now Carl is made to represent a patient and is made to to signify when he hears tones, when he hears tones. So he's not expecting you to do a hearing test in any sort of way. All he's doing is he knows what his hearing loss is, and he is waiting to respond when he can hear the tone. So I'm gonna just fill in these thresholds because, again, I'm a big cheater. And I'm gonna go over to the left ear. One other note here, you can see that I did fill in interoctave. And by default, all of the audiograms that are in Carl, they have values for both all of the interoctaves and the octaves. But when you create your own audiogram or when you're testing Carl, it's really just about following your procedure and your clinical workflow. So you can fill in as many as you wish. Going over to the left ear, I'm going to jump over and play a 70 dB HL tone at 1000 Hertz. And he's responding again. Down 10, no response at 60, no response to 65, and there's my response for 70 again. So I'm gonna go at 70, and now I'm gonna fill in a couple more values that I know are incorrect just as an example. So let's say I thought it was 65, and I found 65 again, and I found 60 at 8K. Back at 500, I found 75, and at 250, I found 75 as well. So theoretically, if I'm someone who's testing Carl's hearing, I don't know what the answer is, and I'm just going to do my best to fill in thresholds according to when Carl responds and according to me doing my hearing test. When I'm happy with the answers, I will click Finish inside of this interface, and you'll see the answers. So on the right ear, as expected, all of our frequencies that we filled in are correct. At 1000 Hertz, we had a reading of 70 dB HL, and the actual reading was 70 dB HL as well for a difference of 0. And when the difference is 0, you can see the row at the top is highlighted in green. The left ear is a bit of a different story. You can see our 1000 Hertz was right, but when we found 75 in the left ear, there was a difference of 5 dB HL, so it was not correct. And you can see the faded outline is what the actual hearing loss given to Carl was. You'll also see that only the correct threshold at the top are the ones that are highlighted in green. At the bottom, it prompts you to select from the list to try another audiogram, or you can go to create your own audiogram, a playlist, or any of the other uses for Carl Pro. Now there's lots of other videos to go through to check out more complex cases or other uses of Carl. As for now, that concludes our testing of an unmasked audiogram for Carl. If there's ever any questions at all, definitely dive into our resources, and if you still have questions, please feel free to reach out to a member of our team.